Hello and welcome to the program. Tonight, we're diving headfirst into a vat of America's most delicious contradictions. We're talking about another 11 of the most dangerous cities in America, all conveniently run by Democrats. Now, before you grab your pitchforks and those Make America Great Again hats, let's be clear, this isn't about pointing fingers. It's about asking the tough questions like, how can a party that champions social justice and equality also preside over cities riddled with crime and corruption? It's a real head-scratcher, isn't it? From the mean streets of Memphis to the allegedly charming streets of Portland, Oregon, we'll be taking a long, hard look at the numbers, the policies and the people in charge. We'll separate fact from fiction, hyperbole from reality, and try to understand how we got here. So buckle up, dear viewers, because we're about to embark on a journey into the heart of America's urban anxieties. We'll be your guide through the labyrinth of statistics, the minefield of political rhetoric, and the occasional, unavoidable sewer of human misery. And who knows, by the end of it, we might even learn something. Maybe, just maybe, we'll uncover some truths that have been hiding in plain sight. Because at the end of the day, understanding these contradictions is the first step towards solving them. So stay with us as we peel back the layers and get to the core of these urban dilemmas. Memphis, Tennessee, birthplace of rock and roll, home of the blues, and unfortunately a city grappling with a crime problem so bad it could make Elvis turn in his sequined jumpsuit. Memphis consistently ranks high, and not in a good way, for violent crime, property crime, you name it. A town you drive into but probably won't be driving out because your car will most likely be stolen. And as if the crime rate wasn't enough to contend with, Memphis has also been rocked by a series of corruption scandals, costing the city thousands in taxpayer money. It's enough to make you wonder, who's actually running this town? Wait, that might be the corrupt mayor. Stay tuned, because things are about to get even more depressing. Next up, we head to Birmingham, Alabama, a city forever linked to the civil rights movement, a place where history was made. But while Birmingham has made strides in some areas, such as urban development and cultural revitalization, it's still grappling with the legacy of its past, particularly when it comes to crime and corruption, which continue to plague the city. We're talking about a city where the murder rate is higher than the national average, a sobering statistic that can't be ignored, and where political scandals seem to be as common as sweet tea on a summer day, undermining public trust. Now, we're not saying that Birmingham hasn't made any progress. It has, with numerous community initiatives and redevelopment projects. But there's still a long way to go, and the road ahead is challenging. The city needs to address its deep-seated issues with poverty, inequality, and lack of opportunity, which are deeply intertwined. If it wants to break the cycle of violence and corruption and create a brighter future for its residents, until Birmingham confronts its past and present demons, acknowledging and addressing them head-on, it will continue to be haunted by them, unable to fully move forward. Don't let the name fool you. Little Rock, Arkansas has big problems. This city, once at the forefront of the fight for school integration, is now struggling with a different kind of battle. A battle against rising crime and a seemingly indifferent local government. The murder rate in Little Rock has been steadily climbing in recent years, and the city has earned the unfortunate distinction of being one of the most dangerous cities in America for its size. But it's not just the crime that's got people worried. Little Rock has also been plagued by a series of scandals involving local politicians. One thing's for sure, something needs to change. Chapter 4. Kansas City, more than just barbecue and blues. Kansas City, Missouri, a city known for its barbecue, jazz music, and well, that's about it. Oh, right. And its sky-high crime rate and murder rate. A place where you can go to a restaurant and be shot by some teens or do some fentanyl and freeze in your friend's backyard. Kansas City also has a serious problem with property crime, drug trafficking, and gang violence. But before you go and order that extra rack of ribs, let's talk about the corruption that's been plaguing Kansas City for years. From shady backroom deals to outright bribery, it seems like there's always some scandal brewing in the heartland. Chapter 5. Myrtle Beach, sun, sand, and a side of crime. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, a vacation paradise where you can soak up the sun, frolic in the waves, and oh yeah, get mugged on the boardwalk. Myrtle Beach, that bastion of family fun, is also a hotbed of criminal activity. But before you cancel your vacation plans, Let's delve a little deeper into the murky underbelly of Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach has a much darker side, one that involves drug trafficking, gang violence, and even human trafficking. Chapter 6. Denver Mile High Crime in the Mile High City. Denver, Colorado, the Mile High City, known for its stunning mountain views, its thriving craft beer scene, and oh yeah, its rapidly rising crime rate. From carjackings and home invasions to assaults and robberies, as well as homeless tent cities, drugs, and now an influx of illegals, Denver has it all. This city reminds us of another we will explore at another time called Los Angeles, California. But before you start boarding up your windows and sharpening your pitchforks, let's take a closer look at what's really going on in Denver. Because while the crime rate is certainly a cause for concern, it's important to remember that Denver was once a relatively nice city overall and maybe can be again someday. That being said, there's no denying that Denver has a crime problem, and it's one that the city's power-hungry leaders need to address before the people decide for them. Chapter 7. Minneapolis, Minnesota, once known as the City of Lakes, is now gaining a reputation as the city of lawlessness. Nicknamed Murderapolis, and the city is most known for the defund the police movement. The city burned in the BLM summer of 2020 riots supported by the city's mayor and the state's governor Tim Walz. And today, carjackings and shootings to robberies and assaults, Minneapolis is experiencing a surge in violent crime that has left many residents still feeling unsafe and on edge. But before you start building that underground bunker, the city leaders need to take a closer look at what's really going on in Minneapolis, stop defunding the police and fix its problems. Because while the crime rate is very high and is certainly a serious issue, it's important to remember that Minneapolis was also once a vibrant and diverse city with a lot to offer, but Democrat leadership has forced it into decline. That being said, there's no denying that Minneapolis has a crime problem and a very dangerous city. And it's one big problem that the city's leaders also need to address head-on before it's too late. Chapter 8. Salt Lake City, Utah, the heart of Mormon country. A place known for its clean streets, its wholesome family values, and, oh yeah, its surprisingly high crime rate. Despite its picturesque setting and reputation for being a family-friendly city, the crime statistics tell a different story. From property crime and drug offenses to violent assaults and even the occasional murder, Salt Lake City has it all. The city grapples with a range of criminal activities that might surprise both residents and visitors alike. But before you start stockpiling your emergency supply of green jello, let's take a closer look at what's really going on in Salt Lake City. It's crucial to understand the underlying factors contributing to these crime rates. Because while the crime rate is certainly a cause for concern, it's important to remember that Salt Lake City is still a relatively safe city if you lock your doors. Many neighborhoods remain peaceful and community events continue to thrive, but the crime rate is higher than Denver, Colorado, so be careful. That being said, there's no denying that Salt Lake City has a crime problem, and it's one that the city's leaders need to address head-on. During election years, community leaders and law enforcement say that they need 4 more years to work on solutions to make the city safer for everyone. Let's see if that ever happens. Chapter 9, Portland, where the roses are thorny and the crime rate is thornier. Portland, Oregon, the city of roses, known for its quirky charm, its thriving food scene, and, oh yeah, its rapidly rising crime rate. From property crime and vandalism to assaults and shootings, Portland has seen it all in recent years. In 2020, it was home to the dangerous autonomous zone run by domestic terror groups. The weak leadership of Portland had to bargain and apologize to criminals and who have taken over the city. The crime rate is still certainly a cause for concern in Portland, with same poor leadership still in charge. That being said, there's no denying that Portland has a crime problem that will only be fixed with change, and it's one that the city's law-abiding citizens need to address head-on at the polls. Chapter 10, Chattanooga, from scenic city to crime city. Chattanooga, Tennessee, the scenic city. Known for its beautiful riverfront, its revitalized downtown, and oh yeah, its surprisingly high crime rate. From property crime and drug offenses to violent assaults and even the occasional murder, Chattanooga has it all. But before you start boarding up your windows and sharpening your pitchforks, let's take a closer look at what's really going on in Chattanooga. Because while the crime rate is certainly a cause for concern, it's important to remember that all things in Chattanooga can change with the right leadership, and it does not seem to be the current. That being said, there's no denying that Chattanooga has a crime and leadership problem, and it's one that the city's leaders need to address sooner than later. Chapter 11. Dayton, from birthplace of aviation to hotbed of crime. Dayton, Ohio, the birthplace of aviation, known for its rich history, its industrial heritage, and, oh yeah, its sky-high crime rate, one of the highest in the nation. From property crime and drug offenses to violent assaults and even the murder, Dayton has it all. A city of high crime inviting more in every day. Just like other Democrat-run cities, Dayton not only has a surge of homeless and poverty and crime, they now have illegals and gangs running the streets. What a mess it has become. A city filled with a crime rate this high has to ask itself, how did this happen? It is certainly a cause for concern and not fair to its residents. That being said, there's no denying that Dayton has a crime and leadership problem, and it's just another one that the city's residents need to address at the polls. Well, there you have it, folks. A whirlwind tour of 11 American cities grappling with crime, corruption, illegals running ramped in the streets, and the complexities of urban life. But most importantly, we've hopefully encouraged you to think critically about the narratives we're often presented with. So stay safe, stay informed, and for God's sake, stay skeptical of everything. We'll see you next time on... Well, you know the drill, folks, and if you happen to like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you, and we hope to entertain you again very soon.